Hi and welcome everyone. This is the Teachers with Guts monthly webinar for the month of May 2017. And we have on the line, we have Melody Hageman, our program coordinator, Sue Gibbs, our lead facilitator and curriculum developer, and I'm Irene Lee. And then we have Cheryl Ariola, who is a facilitator from Broward, and Cristian is with us. Okay, so I guess we're going to share some strategies and hopefully some success stories, or just hear from Cheryl what's going on in your classroom. And then we'll have an interview with Cristian. After that, we'll look at the Teachers with Guts.org developments, but not a demo today. So Melody, take it away.
All right, so Cheryl, we have you here. We know you've been doing Guts in your classroom and also facilitating workshops. So do you have any strategies that you've either used in your classroom or you've heard from other teachers or used in your workshops that you would like to share with us? Put you on the spot.
Putting me on the spot, okay. Well, some of the strategies that I use is making class sets of some of the student directions, so that I know that another teacher has used like an iPad and had one student, the navigator, using the iPad for the navigation purposes, while the other one is on the laptop driving. I don't have access to that kind of equipment, so I instead run color copies and put together a folder with all the different lesson activities. And then I separate them so they know that when they've reached the end of the activity. And then I also put some of the challenge activities in there as well. Things like trailblazers, I've put in sheet protectors and used expo markers. That allows students, instead of committing it to like a color pencil on the paper, and then if they rethink it and want to change their strategies, they simply wipe it clean because it's expo markers. And then they can navigate a little bit easier and don't have that fear of making a mistake, that it's easy to adjust and rethink and redo. So those are a couple strategies that I share at my workshops and with teachers at my school.
Great.
That's great. Thank you. And have you run into any conundrums as you've been facilitating or within your classroom? Anything that we should be wary of?
Oh, conundrum. Just refresh, because sometimes, you know, you've looked at the code, they seem to be doing everything right, and sometimes it just gets a little glitchy. And when in doubt, just try to refresh, and sometimes that solves all the world problems.
That's great advice. Yeah, thank you.
We have someone joining us, Jolly Sai. I'm not sure if you could say who you are. Maybe not.
Oh.
Okay, so Cheryl, I heard you say you're getting ready to implement the ecosystems unit, and it'll be, I don't know, your third time or fourth time maybe? And are you at a point where you feel comfortable making modifications and taking it in new directions? Or are you going with the standard?
I think at this point, I guess it would be on the spot kind of decision. I am going to be coordinating with another teacher. That'll be a first this year. So we'll be kind of trying to keep in step with each other, so our kids are doing the same thing at the same time. So I'm kind of thinking how we might be outside at the same time doing the walk and turn, the turtle. So I think that there will be a lot more adjusting this year based on the fact that I'm keeping in step with someone else. So I guess that I'll have to report back on how I've made some adjustments based on that.
Great. I'm looking forward to hearing that.
Yes. Awesome. And before we go on, I just wanted to remind everyone that going forward, we're actually restructuring these Project Guts webinars to have lots of time for us to share strategies and success stories and even conundrums that come up in our using Project Guts, as well as highlight a new resource or a member of the community that you guys should know. And so today, thank you, Cheryl, for kind of doing that. We put you on the spot, but feel free to prepare stuff for our next webinar. And if you'd like to share it, great. If not, if you just want to send it to us, we can share out. But we love to hear what's working for you guys across the country. So.
Thank you, Melody. Okay, moving on. I'd like to introduce Cristian Rizzi. He is a super contributor to Project Guts. Not only did he offer a MOOC in Spanish based on our Project Guts MOOC, but he's also translated and contributed many of his resources to the Teachers with Guts site. So welcome, Cristian.
Thank you. Thank you, Erin and Melody, for inviting me.
Ah, wonderful.
I'm very proud.
I'm just going to ask you some questions. If you could tell us about yourself.
Yeah, well, I'm an educational technology consultant and also a teacher's trainer. I work at the Ministry of Education of the City of Buenos Aires. The City of Buenos Aires holds like 3,000 schools. And I also work at the University of San Andrés, the Universidad de San Andrés. And I've been working in education for more than 25 years and teaching computer science and computational thinking the whole time.
Mm-hmm. How did you get started, or what spurred your interest in modeling and simulation and computational thinking?
Well, when I started at the very beginning, I started teaching BASIC and Logo in the 90s when even the PC had not yet invented. So the first time I saw a computer model was in 1985. It was a very simple simulation of an inclined plane on an Atari 130 XE computer. That was before technology, and the simulation allowed you to change the dimensions of the plane and check what will happen with objects placed at the top of the plane. So I was at that time I was an undergraduate science student, and because of the possibility of changing the parameters and see what will happen with the system was so amazing for me then. And I would say that that was like love at first sight. I fell madly in love with computational models.
Nice. So how did you first get involved with Project Guts and with Star Logo Nova?
I was a Logo fan. As I told you, I started teaching Logo in the 90s. So, and because of my special interest about simulation, I was always looking for simulation models and for tools that allow me to build simulations. So I discovered Star Logo Nova as a new Star Logo TNG, as a new tool that was able to allow me to create simulation models. So when I discovered Star Logo TNG, I went to MIT to do a workshop, the Imagination Toolbox workshop, and then I started translating Star Logo TNG into Spanish. And then when I was looking for resources about Star Logo TNG, I bumped into Guts' website, and really appeared to me as a great, valuable project to get kids into programming beyond making games, like learning computational thinking through real-world problems like forest fire or epidemic spreading. That for me was very, very interesting. And Guts also appears as a great resource source with lots of lesson plans and curriculum and tutorials, help guides, etc. Mm-hmm. So it was very common for me, like twice a month, go to Guts' website and check if there were new lesson plans and new resources.
Fantastic. So can you tell me more how you used the resources, both in teacher professional development and your MOOC?
Well, last year I offered a MOOC course on computational thinking in science. It was a Spanish version of the Project GATS, computer science and science, and it was one of my proudest professional accomplishments, being able to offer the Spanish version of Project GATS course as a MOOC course for more than 500 Spanish-speaking teachers. Wow. Mainly from Colombia, Argentina, and Ecuador, but for more than 10 countries. And I spent literally thousands of hours translating and adapting content, subtitling videos, recording new tutorials, because new video tutorials, editing images, and learning a new tool on where to host the course, like Google Course Builder. And well, yeah, I was so amazed of doing that work. I learned a lot, and it was a pleasure for me to do that.
And the good news is you said the course is still available and open.
Yes.
So we will share that broadly, and hopefully many more people will get the value from it.
Perfect.
Good. So can you tell me a little bit about the resources that you recently uploaded on the Teachers with Guts site?
Yeah, sure. So one of the resources is the dengue fever outbreak simulation. That was I developed that. I programmed that simulation, that model, with a group of biology teachers from the Ministry of Education. Uh-huh. And the idea was here, dengue fever is a very, very big problem, and in whole Latin America. And right now we are having a great invasion of mosquitoes. They are not dengue mosquitoes, but they are mosquitoes. So it's a very, very big problem. And because of that, we wanted to use, to create a simulation model to show the importance of, I don't know how to say that in English, but to get rid of the cacharros is the Spanish word, those little recipients that can, if there's some water on there, the mosquitoes put the eggs there. So you need to get rid of those recipients. And it's not about fumigation. So we wanted to a model to show the real importance of getting rid of those recipients and not fumigation. So we developed that model. That is one of the models that you can check that, and it is in English also. So the simulation allows us to set a scenario. You can set the number of initial number of people, the initial number of people infected and mosquitoes, and you can select the months on the year that the simulation will take place. So you can play with those parameters to simulate scenarios.
Fantastic. I'm sure our community will really enjoy and hopefully make use of your model.
Yeah. Another of the resources is the fishing game, the Tragedy of the Commons. It is still in Spanish. I promise I will work and get it to English. So, but the idea is to depict the problem of the tragedy of the commons when many people use common resources, and if separately, if everyone wants to take the best part of that is a problem. So that's a tragedy of the commons. So that's a fishing game. So we created that game into NetLogo.
Great. So as teachers, we try every day to inspire our students. When have you been inspired by your students recently?
When when at the MOOC, I had one of my students was a chemistry teacher who was really amazed by the possibility of creating her own model of the beautiful bluish copper sulfide crystals. It was also the topic on which she was working at the chemistry lab. So she was so excited that she sent me daily emails telling me her advances with the modeling tool, Starlogonova in that case, and asking me to advise her on getting the model to the next level. So each day was for her a new experience, a new learning experience, a new discovery with Starlogonova in her path of getting the model doing what she expected to do. So as I teach teachers, I get inspired whenever I see my student teachers implementing new concepts and strategies, trying to integrate computational thinking into the curriculum.
It's great to see people get very excited about their models and what they can do. Yes. So what excites you most about the current state of computational science education in Argentina? Is it catching fire? Are people...
Oh yeah, computational thinking is getting more and more attention by this government, adapting the curriculum and launching different programs in order to develop computational thinking at school. The government is putting a lot of effort and resources in doing in-service teacher training and on how to integrate computational thinking into the curriculum. At the Universidad de San Andrés, in fact, we are now launching a new program to offer a set of workshops and a website to help K-12 teachers to integrate computational thinking into the curriculum. And, as a developing country, we must teach our kids and our teachers this new lens that computational thinking offers us to see and perceive the world around us in a computational mode to better solve problems using tools that are now at our fingertips. So we cannot afford not to invest in the future of our kids. So that's why computational thinking is perceived by this government as a very strategic topic.
That's great. Do keep us informed as that develops.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So finally, I'd like to hear about some inspiring CT projects you've been involved with recently.
Recently I taught Scratch to a group of teachers, many primary teachers, and I was showing them how to use, modify, create computational models using Scratch and also with the Lego We Do programming kit. Especially, I showed them how to combine Scratch and We Do to work on the bifocal modeling approach by Blickstein and Wilensky from 2007. Bifocal modeling is the concurrency in real time of a real experience using a physical model and the computer model. For example, they constructed a Lego mechanism where a weight moves the blades of a windmill through a pulley mechanism, while a virtual mill moves on the Scratch screen. So this was possible because of the usage of the We Do distance sensor, which is controlled by a program in Scratch. So that was very, very amazing. And
that sounds...
we try to show them how to use a model also to do science in the classroom.
So Cristian, in that case, was there the sensor on the windmill that was driving the virtual simulation, or just showing the data that was generated side by side?
No, there was no data. So it was an early stage of bifocal modeling. But the distance sensor, was measuring the distance between the sensor and the weight on the pulley. So when the weight get into the sensor, the blades of the windmill of the scratch windmill started to move. So.
I see. Is there anything else that you want to share that you've been working on?
The other project that I also mentioned was the dengue fever outbreak simulation, and we had, in fact, to develop that model, we had interviewed teachers and researchers like a virologist and an entomologist group specialized in mosquitoes. So yeah, that was another very, very big and great resource.
Yes, and it's nice to be able to study, local issues and have students and teachers see the value of this practice.
Absolutely, and on Saturday night I went to we had dinner with friends, and because of the mosquito topic is always on top, because we have we are under an invasion now. And, well, they discovered that I knew a lot about mosquitoes. So they say, wait a minute, where did you get that? we didn't know you were a mosquito specialist. So I told them about my work, and I learned a lot with these researchers. So.
Fantastic. So at this point, I'd like to open up to the floor and see if anyone else has some questions for Cristian.
I have a silly question. How do you translate Project GUTS into Spanish?
How?
Just the word, the acronym GUTS. Does it translate?
No, it wasn't translated.
Doesn't work.
No, because you can translate it like, but it doesn't. I couldn't came up with an acronym that have a meaning like that. So in Spanish will be creciendo. So creciendo pensando científicamente. So it's like CPC.
Yeah.
So it's no meaning. I tried. So but I mentioned GUTS with the English acronym.
Okay.
Got it. Cristian, do you hear from your teachers that there are other resources in our collection that we need to translate to Spanish, or are there needs that we should know about from your teacher community?
I'll say it again. Sorry, Erin.
Are there needs that your teachers have, either for new materials or for translations of materials that have not been translated yet?
Our teachers, well, I think that we are on an early stage, so we are now spreading the word and trying, because for now, right now, the interest is mainly in computational thinking, but not working as a cross-curricular topic. So we are getting these materials into Spanish to show them the power of computational thinking through the curriculum. So when they see that, they got the value. So we are starting spreading the word, and I think mainly the biology topics are because the science teachers are more interested in those resources.
I see. Very good. Well, thank you so much, Cristian. This has been very helpful, and I really hope more members of our community will watch this recording and learn more about you.
Okay, let me say one thing. I was reading about, and I know that because the integration of computational thinking into the curriculum it's very difficult. So code.org is doing a great job, but curriculum integration is not yet too clear for many teachers around the world. So I think Project GUTS is doing a pioneer work on that. So I think it's very important because it's not a discussing. It's not. Nobody's arguing against computational thinking, but computational thinking into the curriculum is not clear for everybody. So I think there's just a few experiences and projects that do computational thinking but integrate it into the curriculum. So we want to follow that line. So that's why we are putting efforts in translating these materials. So your curriculum plans are very useful for us.
Fantastic. Well, as you develop your own curriculum, please share it back and we can help disseminate it with many more teachers.
Sure, of course.
Thanks again, Cristian.
No, thank you.
Yeah, feel free to stay on, and
okay.
We're just going to wrap it up.
Okay.
So some other information. Want to thank people for joining the Teachers with Guts site. If you haven't already, check it out. And while you're there, if you can update your profile by adding an avatar or photo, that makes it friendlier, and we have a better recognition of your name with your face. That's it. If you have suggestions about the Teachers with Guts site, please email me and we'll get it on the list of things to add. It's an exciting time. We are trying to bring together the communities, the After School Project Guts with the Code.org, CS and Science teachers, as well as other Star Logo users and our MOOC participants. So we hope to be building some momentum and bringing the community together. And we need your help, so please contribute and participate. And then give us your feedback on the webinar, and please join us in future weeks and get ready to share out some of your experiences.
And let me say thank you for you, Irene, because the MOOC in Spanish wasn't possible without your help. So your support, your continuous and ongoing support. So a big thank you.
You're welcome, Cristian. That's exciting to have you as a colleague and share your knowledge and your skills. So thank you.
Thanks so much.
So our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, June 7th. I'll send out an email and post the exact time.
Do you want to tease anything about who our special guest might be?
So next month, we'll have another contributor, Dr. Susan Yoon from University of Pennsylvania, who worked on a project called Biograph that was integrating Star Logo Nova into science curricula, slightly in a different manner, more of the use side than on the create side, but some great materials on evolution, gene regulation, just really exciting topics. So come join us for that. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night. Thank you again, Cristian. You're amazing.
Bye. Thank you, Melody.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.